Hello and welcome back. Today we are speaking about the 7 spiritual laws of success, a practical guide to the fulfillment of your dreams by Deepak Chopra. This book was a #1 New York Times bestseller, and after reading this, I can truly understand why. This beautifully written book shares some seriously powerful ideas on how we can aid our success in every area of our lives. From the law of giving, to the law of cause and effect, to the law of intention and desire, to even the law of pure potentiality, where we discuss the field of all possibilities and true infinite creativity. This book truly shares some incredible wisdom and ideas with practical steps on how to incorporate them into our everyday lives. Now let's get into the summary. So let's start with law number 1, the law of pure potentiality. Chopra starts this by teaching us that we are, by nature, pure consciousness. This is our spiritual essence, and pure consciousness is pure potentiality. When we discover this is our true nature, we realize who we really are, and that knowing that in itself gives us the ability to fulfill any dream we may have. Chopra introduces us to 2 ideas, which in essence are ways to perceive the world around us and ourselves. The first is object referral, and this describes an experience of being which is influenced by the external. For example, the need for approval by others, status such as a high position job, maybe a flashy car, maybe money. These are all ego-based fear ideas which are extremely fragile. The other was self-referral, and this is the experience of self, which means that our reference point is our own spirit. This is where we experience our true being. We have respect for all people. We feel beneath no one, therefore self-power is true power. The ego-based way of seeing things, in other words object referral, is very temporary. It can only last as long as the external sources last. For example, when that job status goes, so does the power. This is the limited ego-based way of seeing things, when we place too much control on those things outside of us. In other words, object referral is extremely temporary. On the other hand, self-referral is permanent, because it's based on a knowledge of self. It also magnetizes people, situations, and circumstance to support whatever our desires may be. So how do we access this? How do we access true self-referral, which in essence aligns us with our true power? There are some very practical steps on how we can achieve this, some of which were practicing silence, meditation, non-judgment, and spending more time in nature. These all help us with the experience of self. In other words, self-referral. Silence in the mind through meditation is an incredibly powerful way to do this. Chopra suggests we should meditate at least twice a day in the morning and evening for 30 minutes at a time. Stillness is the first requirement for manifesting your desires, because in stillness lies your connection to the field of pure potentiality that can orchestrate an infinity of details for you. Imagine this for a moment. Imagine throwing a stone into a still pond and watching it ripple. Then once it settles, throwing another. This is exactly what you do in the field of pure silence when you introduce your intentions. There is power in silence. Chopra shares with us a passage from the Bible which says, "Be still and know that I am God." Now that's a very powerful statement when you consider how powerful silence and being still can be. Law number 2, the law of giving. Now the universe operates through dynamic exchange. Nothing is ever static. Your body is in dynamic and constant exchange with the body of the universe. Your mind is interacting with the mind of the cosmos. Your energy is an expression of cosmic energy. Now think about it for a moment. Everything works in flow. Think of your blood flow. Think of the stream. If your blood stops, a clot would form. In other words, everything needs to keep flowing. This is why you must give and receive. And from a certain state of consciousness, giving and receiving are exactly the same. In order to keep wealth and affluence, or anything in your life, you must be in the exchange of giving and receiving. You cannot be in the receiving unless you are giving. Now, if we stop the circulation of money, if our intention is to hold back money or hoard money, we will stop its circulation back into our lives. To keep money coming in, we have to keep the energy circulating. Just like a river, money must keep flowing. Otherwise it will stagnate. Practicing this law is easy. If we want love, we must learn to love. If we want joy, we must learn to give joy to others. If we want to achieve our dreams, we must help others achieve their dreams. Giving doesn't always have to be in the physical. We can simply see someone, a stranger, someone on a train, someone walking by us, and simply wish them well. This in itself is an act of giving. Law 3, the law of karma, or cause and effect. Now, I'm positive that at some stage you've heard about karma. Now let's get into it from a different perspective. Karma, both action and consequence of that action. What goes around comes around. You sow what you reap. Now let's think about it for a moment. Every single thing that has happened into us at this very moment is a result of the choices we've made in the past. Now here's where things get interesting. It's not just the choices we are aware we're making. It's also the choices we are unaware that we are making. Just because we're not aware, it doesn't mean that we're not activating the law of cause and effect or the law of karma. Therefore, it is essential that we become more aware of the choices we are making in every moment. Remember, we are creators. We are choice makers. Now, how can we make better choices? What can we do to make sure we are activating the law of karma in our benefit? Well, we could start by asking two things. Every time we have a decision to make, we can ask ourselves the question, what are the consequences of the choice that I'm making? Your heart will immediately know the answer to this. Number 2, you can ask yourself, will this choice that I'm making right now bring happiness to me and all those around me? If the answer is yes to both of these questions, go ahead. If no, then don't make that choice. And it really is as simple as that. The universe helps us make these choices if we are sensitive enough to feel them. This can be felt as sensations in the body. As you make a choice, simply ask, if I make this choice, what happens? The body will often send you a message. If you should do it, it will send you a message of comfort. And if no, then it will send you a sensation of discomfort. Some feel this in the solar plexus, whereas most people feel this in the heart. This can be subtle or the faintest of feelings, but it is there if we're sensitive enough to feel them. The heart is holistic. It is intuitive. It's contextual. It's relational. It may not seem rational, but it taps into the cosmic computer of pure knowledge. This is more precise than the limits of our rational thoughts. Now, I know what you could be thinking. What about all that past karma? What about all those things and those choices you've already made? Chopra speaks about 3 ways to deal with this. Number 1, pay your karmic debt. No law of karma ever goes unpaid. Of course, most people pay their karma without ever noticing or consciously thinking about it. But I can assure you, this debt is being paid. Number 2, and my favourite, transmute your karma into a more desirable experience. Now let's explain this for a moment. When an act of karma comes to you, simply ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Why is this happening? How can I make this a useful experience to my fellow human beings? What is the message the universe is trying to give me? Chopra gives an example of someone who broke their leg in sports. Now, this may seem like a terrible thing to happen, especially if you're an athlete. However, how can we transmute this? We might want to write a book on sports safety. We might want to share what could prevent these type of incidents happening to anyone else in the future. Now, in this particular example, breaking a leg could be the act of repaying karma. But this can also be converted and can be a greater benefit that could actually bring wealth and fulfillment in many other ways. Now this is transmuting our karma. And the third way is to transcend karma altogether. This can be achieved through meditation. Now let's conclude with this statement. As long as karma is evolutionary for everyone affected by the action, then the fruit of karma will be happiness and success. Law number 4, the law of least effort. Nature's intelligence functions with effortless ease, with carefreeness, harmony, and love. Now, if you observe nature at work, you will see that the least effort is expended. The grass doesn't try to grow, it just grows. Flowers don't try to bloom, they bloom. Birds don't try to fly, they fly. It's intrinsic nature. The earth doesn't try to spin on its own axis, it just does. It's the nature of the sun to shine, and it's the nature of the stars to sprinkle, and it's the nature of us human beings to make our dreams manifest into physical form, easily and effortlessly. Now, when we make decisions based on our own egos or personal gain, we are cut off from the energy flow, the natural energy flow of the universe. However, when our decisions are motivated by love, are motivated by helping the whole or giving, this is when the law of least effort is put into action. Now let's take a moment and think of your body as a device for controlling energy. It can generate, store and expend energy. And if you know how to do this in an efficient way, then you can create any amount of wealth or bring any dream into manifest. Now, attention to the ego consumes great energy. When you want to control others or you seek approval from others, you spend a lot of energy in a very wasteful way. When this energy is freed up and it's not being given to the ego, it can be rechanneled and used to create anything you want. When your reference point is the spirit, you're immune to egoic limits and you harness the power of love. And you can use this positive energy for affluence and evolution. This is the law of least effort. This is the least resistance. Do less and accomplish more. Now this is a reality once we have activated the law of least effort. Law number 5, the law of intention and desire. Now, this law is based on the fact that energy and information exist everywhere in nature. In the quantum field, which is just another label for the field of pure consciousness, there is only energy and information. Now this field is influenced by our own intentions and desires. Everything is a part of the same energy. Everything we see around us, everything we hear around us, everything we perceive in the 3D physical world comes from the quantum field, which is the universe, which is your extended body. Now I understand that might be a lot to get your head around, but let's get into the details. Your environment is your extended body. You cause everything around you to manifest. Remember, you are a creator. You bring your dreams into reality. Now, in order for us to do this, whether we're doing it consciously or unconsciously, this is brought about by two qualities inherent in consciousness. One being attention and the other being intention. Now let me share this quote which puts this perfectly. Attention energizes and intention transforms. Whatever you put your attention on will grow stronger in your life. Whatever you take your attention away will wither, disintegrate and disappear. Intention, on the other hand, triggers transformation of energy and information. Intention organizes its own fulfillment. Intention is the real power behind desire. Intent alone is very powerful because intent is desire without attachment to the outcome. Desire alone is weak because desire in most people is attention with attachment. Intent is desire with strict adherence to all the other laws, but particularly the law of detachment, which brings us to our next law. Law number 6, the law of detachment. Chopra goes on to explain that the law of detachment says that in order to acquire anything in the physical universe, you have to relinquish your attachment to it. The moment you relinquish your attachment to the result, combining one-pointed intention with detachment, at the same time, you will have that which you desire. Anything you want can be acquired through detachment because detachment is based on unquestioning belief in the power of your own true self. Remember, once you're following the rules of self-referral, your higher self, or the universe, will know how to fulfill every need. Everything else is a symbol. Cars, houses, banknotes, clothes, aeroplanes. These symbols are transitory. They come and they go. They're all very temporary. Chopra says, chasing symbols is like settling for the map instead of the territory. Let that sink in. Chasing symbols is like settling for the map instead of the territory. This ultimately can leave you down the road to feel hollow, because these symbols on their own will not bring you happiness. They will not bring fulfillment. Attachment to these symbols comes from poverty consciousness, because attachment is always to the symbols. Detachment is synonymous with wealth consciousness, because with detachment, there is freedom to create. Leaving yourself open and letting go and trusting the universe really opens us up to infinite possibilities that the universe can bring us our desires. As soon as we have attachment, we are limiting ourselves and the universe to bring us exactly what we desire. Uncertainty is our friend. We should be comfortable with the uncertain, because ultimately we are putting the trust in the universe. Now, law number 7 is the law of Dharma, or purpose in life. Now, everyone here has a unique gift or a special talent to give to others. The law of Dharma says, and I quote, "We have taken manifestation in physical form to fulfill a purpose." One of the most important questions we can ask ourselves is what are our talents? What can we give? What do we love to do? All of this will help us find our purpose. This will help us understand why we are here. Remember, we're not human beings that have occasional spiritual experiences. It's actually the other way around. We're spiritual beings that have occasional human experiences. We are all here to discover our higher self or our spiritual self. We are all here to find our unique talents and how to express them. Chopra suggests some really important questions for us to ask ourselves. How about we ask ourselves, how can I help, instead of what's in it for me? From what's in it for me to how can I help, you automatically go beyond the limits of the ego. You now are entering the domain of the spirit. Everyone is here for a purpose. We have to make commitments to seek our higher self, which is to go beyond the ego. We have to make commitments to discovering our unique talents. And we also have to make a commitment to finding out how we can best serve humanity with these talents. And those are the 7 spiritual laws of success. Now, I'd love to end on this quote, which is found in the conclusion of the book. We have all stopped for a moment to encounter each other, to meet, to love, to share. This is a precious moment, but it is transient. It is a little parenthesis in eternity. If we share with caring, lightheartedness, and love, we will create abundance and joy for each other. And then this moment would have been worthwhile. Now, I highly recommend you check out the book. It's a very easy read, and it's a very short read. One of the things I particularly love about this book is the practical steps at the end of each chapter and how you can apply these laws immediately into your life. If you enjoyed this video, could you please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button for more. Thank you and namaste.